Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to the Banterous Hour with one of the co-hosts, Mr. Liam.
Hello there.
And today we wish you a happy Star Wars Day 2025. May the 4th be with you, always.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's nice that
Absolutely.
it's nice to celebrate Star Wars Day. I don't think we did a Star Wars Day podcast in 2024. I think the last one was 2023 on the ALP podcast. So it's nice to come out swinging with another podcast to celebrate Star Wars. I don't really think I'd be that interested in doing this with any other franchise, to be honest. I just feel like Star Wars is such a diverse, massive, interesting universe full of variety and different characters and different planets and environments and species and ship types and occupations. It's just quite interesting, to be honest. You got bounty hunters, Wookiees, Jedi, Sith, what's it called? Grey Jedi, Rebels, Clone Troopers, Robot. Well, the CIS droids, the normal droids. All these different things and planets and environments, and you got the Mandalorians, you got the Twi'leks, you got the Kit Fisto species, you got the Gungans.
Nautilin, I think.
Damn, that's impressive. That that. I respect that a lot. There will be some. So with this Star Wars Day special, it's more. I mean, I have come with a few Star Wars topics, but I've got a few segments that I'm adding a Star Wars twist to.
Oh, cool.
So we've got Cheers for Tears, starting off Star Wars edition for the Star Wars video games. So
Okay.
these are ones that I've played and some that I haven't played, which you've played. So yeah, let's get into this then. Battlefront 2 OG. For me, I'd put this in amazing. Granted, the campaign is a little bit low budget and dated now. This was made in a year, and I feel like I don't know, I forget how to pronounce his first name. I think isn't it Tamira Morrison or Tamira Morrison?
Tamira Morrison.
Yeah. His voice acting in this narrating is very good. The in-game cutscenes, I don't really mind them, to be honest. I think what the story's trying to get across, which is the perspective of a clone trooper, being a clone trooper in the final days of the Clone Wars and then transitioning to the Empire is quite interesting. Even though we know that, even though that isn't the truth at the time, they didn't have a chip. They didn't have an idea for clone troopers having chips in the head. It was just them knowing that they were going to stab the Jedi in the back, and that was part of the gig. That was part of the contract and whatever. They're going to end up killing the Jedi. But obviously now it's chips in the head, which is a lot cooler and more interesting. But obviously back then it was just clone troopers ending up transitioning, and a fair few of them becoming stormtroopers. I found the space missions a little bit, but they can't really do much with them, to be honest. It was good that you had an option to skip. The planets and environments, they recreated them fantastically, man. I love Mustafar. You had certain things that were like moving around. You could interact with certain things in the building as well. You could interact with. You had gates on Kashyyyk that the enemies could like blow up. You had Jedi's that could have basically, and Sith and other hero characters that could run rampant on other characters and shoot them all and kill a load of them. But obviously, their health bar goes down very slowly, so you have to kill more enemies to get your health bar up. So, good balancing right there. I never got to play the online as a kid, but to be honest, I haven't got around to playing the online as an adult, which is a bit of a shame. However, it's quite fun, to be honest. From what I haven't played the online, but from what I've seen, it does look pretty damn fun. Galactic Conquest, that can fill up a load of time playing Galactic Conquest, and you can even duel your friend on Galactic Conquest as well. They can have a second controller and control the enemy ship, whether it's clones versus CIS or rebels versus the Empire. Yeah, amazing game. Where would you put it?
Yeah, I'd probably put it there, I think. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. Yeah, the campaign's pretty good, really, and I suppose it's I suppose actually using sort of like in-game cutscenes with like the that aren't sort of like pre-rendered or like whatever. I suppose that was different. I don't know. I guess they were working with what they had, but yeah, those were cool with Tamira Morrison's voiceover and I guess just finding out about like how the clones felt and their thoughts and whatever. But yeah, the space battles were the weakest part of that. Yeah, but at least you got the option to skip those. It's almost as if they
Yeah,
knew, like, oh, people, you know, might not really want to do these missions, so I
yeah.
usually skip to those. So
Yeah,
yeah,
same here. Because the issue is like I enjoyed the first one when they tried to recreate the battle over Coruscant the best they could with multiple ships flying round, and you could fly up and then look down at the frigates going round and all this stuff like that. That was cool, but you know, apart from that, I don't usually play the space missions myself as well. Yeah, just very, I don't know, just a bit slow paced. Now they're amazing for the time, and I'll always do a quick space battle on instant action. But yeah, not really the best. Definitely the weakest part of the game. But yeah, Battlefront One, I'll probably put it in great. To be honest, I know that might sound a bit weird because these games are similar, but I feel like Battlefront Two just does everything a lot better than Battlefront One. And I feel like with Battlefront 2, we get a unique campaign. While with this one, we just get like scenes from the films playing. And this was before Revenge of the Sith came out. So we get scenes from the film, and that's about it, really. There were certain aspects I liked a bit better, like you get to play as the Gungans with the Battle of Naboo. That was kind of cool, that being recreated. Um, we hadn't. I don't think we'd seen Kashyyyk yet. Well, yeah, that wasn't until Revenge of the Sith, but I'm guessing they might have used the Clone Wars show footage from 2002. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know if you could confirm that or not, because it looked a bit like a bit. I don't know how to explain. It looked a bit like animated. It looked like it looked a bit more childish rather than gritty and grimy,
I
like that
don't know.
Kashyyyk map.
No, they didn't use footage from the old Clone Wars Micro series. No.
No. I don't mean footage. I meant like they didn't have Kashyyyk yet
Mm.
in the in Star Wars because the game came out in 2004. But they had a Kashyyyk map on Battlefront 2. Didn't I mean Battlefront 1? Didn't they? So I'm saying was Kashyyyk in like any of the Star Wars media before 2005? That's what I was trying to say.
Not actually. I don't know. Actually, not sure. I think it might have been in the Clone Wars Micro series, like in the second volume, which was like close to when Revenge of the Sith came out. But
Oh,
that
fair
was
enough.
only very brief. You didn't really see much of it, but
Yeah, I really
not
like
sure there was.
the attack of the. Well, I love the Geonosis map in this one because you get Count Dooku's little lair in there. Oh, actually, no. One thing I do like a bit better is that you do get to have ships flying around on the ground. That's pretty cool. Same as on Bespin, that's pretty cool. So, okay, I mean, you could argue that it's in the amazing category as well. I wouldn't mind putting it there, but I just personally think it'd probably be like high end great. Where would you want to put it?
I haven't played this one as much as the second one, but maybe great. Again, yeah, it doesn't really have a sort of like a proper sort of campaign as such compared to Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you can't play as the heroes and villains. You can like fight the heroes and villains because they'll be on the opposing side, but I can't remember whether you can actually like properly kill them or whether they're like really difficult to kill or something. But
I think don't they run off? Or I can't remember to be honest, but I remember also having a difficult time trying to kill them.
yeah, I don't know whether they're just like really hard to kill or whether I don't know whether you'd end up having to like try and knock them off like a high area or something. I'm not sure, but they're still pretty cool. I guess yeah, of course, didn't have Revenge of the Sith because it came out before then, but still had a lot of maps from the other 5 films. And there's probably some stuff it does better than the second one, but I just can't really think of much because I haven't really played much of it. It was
Yeah,
a while ago, but Yeah, I'd still say it was probably great. Like, so I'll probably put it there as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. You have the floor on this one, Liam. From what I've seen, again, I'm not trying to do a, like one of our mates, he always likes to say, "Well, I've seen gameplay of this, so therefore it's the best game ever." Unfortunately, I haven't played Bounty Hunt. No disrespect, George, but yeah, I haven't played Bounty Hunter. But it does look pretty bloody amazing. The gameplay looks sick. The story looks fun. It looks like the gameplay seems to handle like similar to Battlefront, even though it came out before Battlefront. But I don't know. The Django Fett gets a lot of cool abilities, and the jetpack looks fun. The gameplay looks fun. The story looks great. Expands Django Fett's character greatly. But you've played this game, so I guess ultimately I'll put it wherever you want to put it.
Yeah, the weird thing with this game though is that I did play it a fair bit when I was younger. It's just that I haven't technically like played through the story sort of in a linear fashion all the way through. I think probably because like I found certain missions more difficult, so I
Yeah.
ended up using like cheats to like unlock all the missions, and then I'd like maybe
Oh,
play certain missions like out of order and whatever. Um, so I haven't really played the game through. I don't think all the way through in order. I don't think, even though I've played like maybe different missions or certain parts of different missions.
mhm.
But from what I remember then of playing it then, yeah, I think I did quite enjoy it and the gameplay and Django's different abilities like the jetpack and his dual pistols and the I can't remember what it's called now, like the wire he has to like sort of wrap up enemies, and the flamethrower, so you can just like use that on anyone, and they'll just go like they'll just like start panicking and running about and whatever. And what's also cool as well is it has this like bounty hunter system where like you can scan different people and it'll show whether they're like whether they've got a bounty on their head or not, and
Yeah.
it'll say like whether they were, I guess, basically indicate whether they're sort of worth more dead or alive. And they said you can either use the like I can't remember what it's called, but like the wire to like wrap them up, which will like, which is the way to sort of like uh take them alive and get the money or like kill them. But I think you have to like mark them on the bounty hunter on like your bounty hunter vision first
Mhm.
to do that. But that's cool. Again, I think from what I remember of like the story and bits of it, I think the story is good. It takes place 10 years before episode 2, so it's basically I think around the same time as the Phantom Menace, pretty much.
Oh,
But
damn! So Count Dooku's been working with Boba Fett for years, then. Bloody hell.
Django Fett,
Django Fett. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So they met like 10 years before, but I suppose in a way it provides that little bit of backstory based off what Django was saying to Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, and
Yeah.
about Darth Tyrannus being, Count Dooku, and meeting him. Met him on one of the moons of Bogdan, which I'm guessing is where they'll
Bogdan.
meet.
That
I
just
think that's
sounds
what he
like a
said.
toilet. That just sounds like a toilet.
I know, yeah, the bog, yeah. I think that's what he said. But yeah, from what I remember, yeah, pretty cool. But just haven't played through the game like all the way, like, and played through all the missions completely, like in order. I
Would
suppose
you
because I
agree?
guess at the time of the difficulty and all that. But
Would you agree with the tier list placing then?
um, it's difficult to say. I'll probably put it. I'll probably put it in great. I think just based
Fair
off like what
enough.
I can remember
Above
playing
or
it.
below Battlefront 1?
Above, I guess.
Fair enough.
Maybe.
Now Force Unleashed #1. Uh, I'll probably put it in between these two. To be honest, it is a great game, great story, great fun. I do find so the most appealing thing with the Force Unleashed, because obviously you see he's got a red lightsaber, Star Killer, is that you get to play as a Sith. and you get to be Vader's apprentice. I feel like this is how I would have liked them to do it. Scrap the Force Unleashed 2, and what we could have had was you spend most of the game being Vader's apprentice doing crap for him. Then he stabs you in the back at the end of the game, and then you think Starkiller's dead, and then you know he survives at the end. The end could be like him waking up, and you're like, oh crap, he's trapped by this machine. How's he survived? And then the next game could be like Vader pretend to be proxy or whatever, saying, I had to make the Emperor think this. I was the one who salvaged your body and all this stuff. And then the second game could have been like a stretched out version of like the final parts of the Force Unleashed one. However, even though you don't get to be Vader's apprentice for that long, it's still a lot of fun. It's cool playing as Vader, whooping all the Wookiees at the start, and then playing as Starkiller, gradually upgrading your power and all that jazz. And it really makes you feel like you're just an insanely next level powerful Jedi, and you can bloody just mess people up with the Force and chuck them about, and it's just hella fun, man. It's just great fun. Enjoy it a lot. Enjoy the battles. Enjoy the story. Enjoy the end. I enjoyed the end how he actually dies as well. That's he pretty much had to, because it wouldn't really matter. Well, I guess he didn't, but like, where was he during the rebellion? Like if he somehow survived that, where was he? Unless he just said survived it and then and then he got away with everyone and said to General what's his face, Kota, if he said to him, I just want to go to live in the middle of nowhere, goodbye. And yeah, some of it was weird how he had a British accent and then he didn't, but I enjoy, like he said, I will. What do you want me to do, my master? And then he just go back to his normal voice, his American voice. What else was cool? I enjoyed Proxy being all these different robots. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I'll put it in great. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, the gameplay is really fun. Yeah, some of the most fun gameplay in a Star Wars game. Just being able to go crazy with the Force, and because I guess there's more of an emphasis on that in a way than like than the lightsaber stuff. Even though you can use there are some like lightsaber attacks and combos which you can sort of chain with like Force lightning and Force abilities as well, which is cool. I think the story's good. I think what you said about maybe Vader stabbing Starkiller in the back at the end of the first game would have been, that would have been interesting to sort of end on that and then go into the second game. But I guess like at least in like the 360 PS3 and PC versions of the game, I suppose there are less missions with Starkiller being Vader's apprentice compared to like the Wii, PS2, PSP, Switch versions. So there's some, they're quite different, and
you say they're better.
In some areas, the Wii, PSP, PS2, Switch versions are better. The story I think is I guess a bit longer, a few more missions. I guess the stories is a bit more fleshed out as well. And even though in the 360 version you can actually, like, once you've completed the story, you can go back and select whatever mission you want to go back and play. Whereas in the Wii, version, you can't do that. Once you finish the story, you just have to go back to the start and go through it again to collect everything.
It's very inconvenient.
Which is, it's a bit annoying, but I mean, I don't know, but I still quite enjoy the first game. Story's pretty good still. I mean, you could argue maybe it would have been nicer if he would have been Vader's apprentice for longer, because like half the game he's sort of, he's on the path to sort of becoming a Jedi, really, and then he sort of does become a Jedi at the end, really, pretty much. But of course, Vader betrays him again, doesn't he? And then,
I thought we were going to overthrow the Emperor. I will, but not with you.
I lied. Yes, as I have from the very beginning.
Goodbye.
Yeah. But again, cool. I guess how it ends, like on the Death Star, which is still technically incomplete, like the first Death Star.
Some of that annoys you about Vader in this, though. Like the Emperor basically throws him under the bus at the end, and then like basically says, "Excellent, now kill him and take your place by my side." So hold on a second, Vader. What? Why you? I know there can only be two Sith, but why, after the Emperor stabbed you in the back the first time, you join him again, even though he plans to overthrow the Emperor himself? So I suppose both Vader and Sidious know what they're both in for when there can only be two. But what I don't get is when in Return of the Jedi, I get that it was made years before Force Unleashed, but it just makes Vader look dumb. Like he lets the Emperor basically say, "Luke, kill him then. Kill Vader now and take your place by my side." And he's like, "No, no, I'll never join you. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me." And it's like, okay. And then he starts electrocuting him. I know Vader turns good in the end, but like he just stands there for a while, and it's like Vader basically just gets treated like shit by the Emperor, and it's like he still has his back to a degree until he throws him off the Death Star.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, it's just.
Where do you want to put this anyway?
I guess he's just waiting for the right time to overthrow him. But
yeah,
I'll probably put it. I don't know. I'll probably top a great, I guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now we come. Oh, I thought we were on. Oh, got it wrong then. I thought we were on to. I was about to say the goat, but no, we're on Force Unleashed 2. I'll be real with you. As much as I've poo-pooed it a lot in the past, I've played it through twice, or it might be 2.5. I might have had a bit of a playthrough after I completed it on my second time on the 360. And to be honest, I'll be real with you. It's probably like a low-end average game. Like, I'm not going to say it's bad. They do go a bit wild with the... I think the story's not particularly good and it's a bit baffling and weird. And the fan service in it is a bit odd. And I just feel like it over-exaggerates the Jedi's powers, like a Jedi being able to take on that giant Tauntaun thing. That seems a bit bloody stupid. Not Tauntaun, the massive Rancor on one of the missions. I thought that.
Well, I don't know. It's just called the Gorog, isn't it? But whatever it. I'm not sure what it's meant to be. Like, unless it's that's the species. I don't know.
And then there's one mission where he's like jumping from. There's multiple missions where he's falling from high places, and you have to move out the way. I find them quite boring and repetitive. But the fact that he jumped from space in one of the missions when he's getting off the Salvation, I thought this is just unrealistic. I just can't take this story seriously. And then what's her name? Is her name Juno? Is Missy? She survives getting like chucked bloody 100 feet. How does that work? Like, I don't even know. That was just a bit odd. And again, with these games, I don't. When you have already existing characters as the main villain in Vader, because I forgot to mention this with the Force Unleashed, I don't really feel any. Unless you're trying to sell the fans like a what if type of game where anything can happen, I don't really get that interested in finding out what happens next. So when I first played these games, even as a kid, I thought, well, Vader's already in the sequels. Well, sorry, Vader was the original villain, and we see how he dies, so you know nothing's going to happen to him in these games. So I find it kind of like, well, I don't really care about the result. You know, Vader's not going to die, so I'm not really invested in these final boss battles. But with all that being said, it is a fun. It's a more like unrealistic, over the top version of the first game. Him coming back as a clone was pretty dumb as well. I thought that was just a bizarre cop out. But you know what? The arc of him, I feel like his arc could have been done well, like with everyone trying to find out, is he the real Star Killer or is he just another clone? And if you choose to kill Vader, you are just another clone because the other clone stops you from killing Vader. And then if you choose to keep him prisoner, he gets taken prisoner. And then you're led to believe that Star Killer is the real Star Killer and that he did somehow survive. Yeah, I don't. It could have been done. It could have been a good arc, but I thought they fumbled the bag in the way they did it. I thought I don't know. It just seemed like a cop out. And I know they were meant to do a third game where it's about like Vader and Starkiller surviving on some random planet and trying to team up together to try and get off the planet alive, and then they end up being enemies at the end. I don't know. It's just a. I put if there's a lot of games in average here, this would be at the bottom of average. to be honest. That's just me. I didn't feel bored playing through it, but I thought to myself, like, I'm not really getting anything out of this game. It's kind of like, you know.
I think the interesting thing as well, I guess, is the fact that, I mean, at the end of the first game, you can fight the Emperor, who is, you know, the most powerful being in the universe, and of course, then in the second game, I mean, you've kind of reached that high, and then in the second game, it's just Vader, isn't it? It's only Vader. It's just Vader again, and then you fight him again. I don't know. I mean, with this game, I think the gameplay is fun. I mean, the gameplay is in some ways arguably better than the first game, but
Yeah,
especially like they introduced dismemberment in this one, and then there isn't any in the first game.
That was very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like chopping off limbs and everything. When the first game, like I remember people saying like how the lightsaber in the first game feels like a baseball bat because you just like, yeah, you're just hitting enemies and sending them flying, but nothing's, you know, nothing's being chopped off. So that was an improvement. I suppose with all like the force abilities and whatnot. But yeah, again, it was even shorter than the first game, and the first game's not really a long game either.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was, I guess, you know, too short, really. And even in like the 360 version, like there's literally like, I think there's at least one mission, a Dagobah, which is technically a mission, like the Dagobah mission, but it's literally you just get off the ship and then you go to Yoda, don't you?
Yeah, and it's hard to do like these type of things with Yoda on Dagobah because you already get the best version of that in The Empire Strikes Back, where he's like, "You seek Yoda," and then you find out that he actually is Yoda. So you just go into some smelly swamp to talk to some wise guy. Oh yeah, but I forgot to mention in both these games, isn't there like the I can't remember what it's called, but where you fight like other people in Star Wars, and there's like cutscenes and all that stuff, and you kill people for Vader. Like in Force Unleashed 2, I remember, don't you kill Leia and Han Solo and Chewie?
That's in the Endor DLC, which is like meant to follow on from the Dark Side ending, so it follows the dark clone of Starkiller that kills the good Starkiller, who we don't know whether he was a clone or whether he survived the first game. That to be fair, that DLC, it's just like a fun little, it's like a fun mission that's like, I don't know, like 20 minutes, half an hour on Endor, which is meant to it's meant to be sort of like an alternative Return of the Jedi in a sense. Like,
yeah,
he goes to Endor instead of Luke. Well, Luke's not there really, hardly, but you know, he goes, but then he ends up killing everyone, killing all the Ewoks, and killing Han and Leia and Chewie. Chewie's death was, yeah, that was a bit.
Doesn't he get like crushed in the 8080 or something?
No, he's in the 88. He's in the 80 ST, the 80 ST. And he jumps on the 80 ST, Starkiller does, and then he opens the hatch at the top, and he like drags him out, lift or whatever, pulling him out, and he's literally holding him like by the neck or whatever, and then Han goes to fire twice, you know, aiming at Starkiller, and he just moves Chewie.
Oh, and Chewie dies like that.
Shoots him twice, yeah. So Han accidentally kills Chewie, and then he lets him drop, and then he just jumps to where Han is and deflects, like blocks a few blaster bolts, and then just uses the Force to pull him over to him and stab him, impale him.
Yeah.
And then the final like boss fight is with Leia, where she's actually sort of become a Jedi or whatever. And that's, you know, kind of cool. It's just I guess it's, you know, just a fun little what if, but yeah, in terms of like the second game, yeah, I think too short. You know, the Vader boss fight is, I don't know. I mean, it is repetitive. It has its moments in a way, but yeah, I suppose really it probably should have been done differently and should have been more fleshed out. And yeah, shame we didn't get the third game in a way, but yeah, I mean, again, though, like the Wii version, that was a bit more fleshed out than the 361. I think it had some more missions, like the actual Dagobah mission was like a proper mission, so you actually got to like do some stuff in the cave, and it wasn't just a cutscene. So stuff was a bit longer and more fleshed out there, even though I haven't played that version. But yeah, even though you could argue in some departments it's better, like graphically and gameplay wise, the story is weaker. And yeah, it was too short as well. It should have been longer. But I'm trying to think where I'd put it. It's difficult to say. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'd probably. I feel like before I might have put it in good, but I guess we can leave it in average. Really.
Fair enough, fair enough. And now on to the GOAT! The GOAT! The GOAT! The GOAT! Okay, it is difficult to say, is this one of the best games ever? Would I really put it in the top 10 games of all time? But I don't know, this feels like the most realistic take on being a Jedi, and I like how we get these flashbacks to him and his master and stuff when he's a kid. I like how that unravels at the end and he has to deal with like his master's death all the time, and that's playing tricks on him. I like the. Have you played the second Fallen Order? What is it?
Oh,
Jedi
Jedi
Survivor?
Survivor. No, I still haven't yet. I'm still
You
need to
me
finish
neither.
replaying the first one.
I see. I really want to talk about one of the scenes that I saw in it, but it's a massive spoiler. I won't talk about it. But basically, there's a scene in it that feels a bit too real. The bloke who plays Cal does an absolutely magnificent job at acting and motion capture. That's all I'll say. Yeah, but this game actually, for the most, like a Jedi. You don't feel like too OP or too much of a beast. I like how you can alternate between like having one lightsaber or a dual saber if you want. What else was cool about it? What else did I like? I like how you're not the one man army. Also, I like the story. I like how it starts off and it makes the Empire feel very oppressive with them being like, we got to kill this Jedi. We know there's a Jedi around. And he has to use the Force to save his mate. And then his mate basically says, look, we're the workers, we're the Union. We can get this sorted. And then he just gets stabbed with the lightsaber. I like how easily as well at the end the Inquisitor gets killed off. She's like, oh, I've been beaten. And then Vader stabs her. And it's like, damn. And when that first happened, I actually ran at Vader and tried to kill him, but I just got my ass kicked. So
I think that's what a lot of people tried to do, I bet, yeah. And it was just like...
No, I'm not backing down from you, you fucking twat. Choo, 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 choo. Dead. So,
yeah.
Which makes sense. Cal isn't some Jedi master. He's a bloody, regular ass guy, isn't he? Who's grafting at learning the Jedi arts. And I like the enemies you get. I like the scout troopers with those boom, 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 those big stick things going. Choo, choo, choo.
Oh yeah, the Electra staffs. Yeah, it's like what the Magna Guards have. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they're called in the game. Are they called those troopers? I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember now. They're not called Dark Troopers. They're called something else. I can't remember.
I like as well how you just randomly get caught by a bounty hunter at one point. That's pretty interesting.
I thought that was like, yeah, that was a really like strange moment in a way. Yeah,
I think it was a good catch you off guard type of moment, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but yeah, that's all I've really got to say about the game. What's your take?
Yeah, again, it's definitely one of the best Star Wars games. One of the best narratives. It has its definitely has its like emotional parts. With like even with like there's like a scene with like Cal and BD1. I think it's when they're on Ilum. I think it's like when Cal's putting together his, or just before he puts together his new lightsaber, well, to make like the double lightsaber.
Yeah.
The interaction there, I think, and yeah, like you say, it's more realistic, yeah, than like the Force Unleashed. But then the Cal, yeah, is not nearly as powerful anyway. I mean, there's only dismemberment for like some of like the I think there's only really dismemberment for like the non-humanoid creatures. We can like
Yeah.
chop off like maybe like a horn or like a chop them in half or something, but not like the stormtroopers or like the humanoid characters. Yeah, now the gameplay's cool, you know, like has a skill tree and you can get more and more cool abilities and yeah, I suppose the only thing that was missing from this game, like in terms of the lightsaber, was being able to use two lightsabers, but there was only like there were only maybe a few abilities where you could actually like where you utilized the two sabers separately. Otherwise, you could only use the a single blade or double blade.
Yeah.
But now some really cool abilities. Soundtrack was good, and they did here and there sprinkle in some John Williams tracks as well. Yes, I suppose there's some cool new planets. I guess and just being able to like I suppose customize your lightsaber too. Different change the color of it and the different parts. Yeah, I guess again, like the relationships like between Cal and BD1 and Cal and his master and the Order 66 sequence and I guess even like Vader showing up just being, you know, the opposite of the Force Unleashed, where he's not even like a boss, he's like just someone you have to run away from, you can't defeat him.
Yeah. That's a good way to do the
um
cheeky fan service.
Yeah, yeah. Giving the Vader the respect this time. Yeah, I mean, I think I remember saying to you a while ago when I first played through the game. I think it was when it was on Kashyyyk. I think where like you can. I think it's when I first got the double. It's like one of the moments where like you can get the double lightsaber. I think it was because up until that point you just have like a single lightsaber, I suppose, single blade. And then I'm pretty sure, I think I said to you, but I remember saying at the time, I think just after the, like, what a game, you know, because like there's this good view as well, like, because you're at the top of the tree or whatever. And it has that photo mode as well, which I used a lot in my first playthrough. Took a lot of like photos and, yeah, I don't know. It's one of the best Star Wars games, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I probably would put it in GOAT as well. Yeah, I suppose.
Fair. What about this then? Is this Star Wars Connect? What would you say about this one?
Yeah, Connect Star Wars. Back when I played it, I did have some fun with it. You know, it has some different stuff. Like I think there are certain modes I think I played more of than others. Like I know there's like a mode I think where you can play as a Rancor, I think, and I don't know, I think you can destroy things or something like that. I don't remember playing much of that one. Does actually have a bit of a campaign, to be fair. It's not very long. It's only like maybe an hour or two. Just has some random characters. I think you might see certain like legacy characters and certain planets which are familiar, but then a lot of the characters I think are just random new characters they created for the game, and like a random sort of like Sith character too, or like some sort of maybe acolyte or something. I suppose it was cool how like because with the Connect you just literally use your body to like do the movements and swing your lightsaber, and I did kind of enjoy doing like the challenge mode things as well. Like there were different characters you could duel, like certain ones from like the story, but also like legacy characters. Like, I remember one where you could duel Count Dooku. Trying to think if there's anyone else. There probably were other people I can't really remember, but I suppose that there's some fun aspects to it. There was that infamous dance mode as well, where you could dance. Where there's that Han Solo,
Oh,
right? That
that doesn't
song where
sound
it's
very.
like instead of I can't remember what the original song is, what the chorus is, but it's like something like I think it's I'm riding solo. I think the original song is, but here it's like
I'm riding
I'm Han
solo.
Solo.
Oh,
But instead it's like I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, or something
I'm
like
Han
that.
Solo. I'm Han Solo. Imagine if it was Leia singing "I'm riding solo." That wouldn't be
Oh
very
god.
appropriate for a Star Wars Connect game.
Yeah, I know there's that mode with a few different characters. I had a little go with that, but I suppose I wasn't so keen on that either.
Were you dancing to
Um,
riding solo then, or not?
I don't know, maybe
Oh, I
kind
don't
of,
mean.
but
Sorry, I
I don't
don't
know.
mean riding Han Solo. I mean, were you dancing to the
I
song?
know, yeah.
Sorry, I'm Han Solo.
Sort of, yeah, maybe a little bit, but
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. Boring.
yeah, kind of. But, yeah.
Where would
But
this be then? Where would you put it?
I'll probably put it. I don't know. I know to a lot of people, they probably don't look back on it very well, like But I don't know. I don't think it deserves to be like in the bad tier. So I'll probably put in average. I think
All right.
just for
Now,
what it is.
I haven't played I haven't played KOTOR 2, but I can already guess that it's probably up here for you. I haven't
I'd
even
say
looked.
so. Based, yeah.
So I was just going to quickly say I haven't even looked any gameplay of of either of these two games that much because I just at some point I just want to go into these games cold turkey and just see how they go. Are they long games to get through? Because I'm tempted to play them next.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, they're not. I guess they're still not like probably as long as like a lot of modern games, which are like
Yeah.
some of them are ridiculously long. I mean, for when I've played them, I remember playing them for a while, but like I said, they're decent lengths. Like they're kind of long, but they're not. I guess they're not stupidly long.
I don't know what I'll do then. I'll probably do Fallout New Vegas next then, and then I'll do Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Probably.
But I will say, like with KOTOR 2, like it's best to play that with the restored content mod, which is on Steam anyway. Like you can sort of,
Do
I
you
can't
just click
remember whether it
download?
automatically. Yeah, I can't remember whether it automatically downloads it with the game or something. Because with KOTOR 2, when it originally came out, it was kind of had, I think, a bit of a rush development as well.
Oh,
So when it originally came out, because it still had a lot of content when it came out in the base game, but it ended up having a lot of cut content and it ended up being like more buggy and whatever.
that's a shame.
Um,
I'll try and see if I can get the restored Well, it should just be there for me to click download on, shouldn't it? So it should be fine.
yeah, because since they're like, I think since Aspire came in at like 10 years ago randomly and like added support for the game and new modern features and like put the restore content mod on Steam, which you could only sort of like download on the internet before, and it was a little bit
Actually,
more complicated. But
sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna mute my mic. I can trust you to do this. I can trust you not to start going blah 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 for like 5 minutes and saying a load of nasty things which might get the podcast banned. So I can trust you to do this. I'm gonna mute you for till let's say 7 minutes past 9 for you to just talk about spoilers and what's so amazing about KOTOR. So I'll mute. If that is that all right with you? Or
mm,
all right, I'll mute you now. Right, I can't hear you, Liam. Hey! No, I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
mhm. Okay, so yeah, so just quickly going back to KOTOR 2, then yeah, there's that that restore content mod, but that's on Steam, so it's much easier to sort of download now, and it just sort of adds it to the game, and it restores like it's from like years of like people, and I think even like the developers themselves, like changing stuff lines in the code and whatever, and which easily like puts content back into the game, and it adds way more stuff, and I suppose it does make the game way better and probably helps with some of the bugs and adds some extra content in there that was cut originally when it was released on like the original Xbox and PC originally. I mean, I still think the vanilla game is like great, but yeah, KOTOR 2, yeah, it's I've played through. I think I played through it all the way. I think twice. I think the first time I played it, I got it on the original Xbox. I don't know what I did looking back, because that, when you look into it, that's like the worst way to really play the game on the original Xbox, especially through backwards compatibility, which I ended up doing on. I ended up playing it on the 360, and it's not a good experience. It's just a lot of the time the frame rate just nosedives, and it's just really sort of like choppy, and yeah, this happens at times, and it's for like extended periods of time, you know, in combat or like moving about, and then you have to wait for it to pass before the frame rate goes back to normal. I'm trying to think whether there are any bugs or whatever. There might have been, but again, it was just, I guess it was just, that's just the vanilla game, so it has all the cut content. But I still remember enjoying my time. So I think that was the first time I played through it, and then I think the second time was when I got it on PC and did it with the restored content mod. I think. Don't think I played it through all the way again. But yeah, second time, yeah, much better experience on PC. Oh,
Liam,
sorry.
is it? Right, I've still got you muted. I'll unmute you. Is it all right if I unmute you now? Sorry, I haven't got you muted. I mean, I've got my audio muted. All right, I've unmuted.
Yeah, you can, if you want, yeah.
Yeah, it's just because. Sorry if I cut you off, but yeah, I just thought I just with a lot of games, I'm not really bothered, but with this, I really want to go into it cold turkey.
Yeah, like I said, I hadn't spoiled anything, to be fair. I was just talking about.
Good, fair enough.
Yeah, I was still talking about the second game and the fact that I played through it, I think, all the way twice, I think, and
yeah,
PC was a better experience.
No, that's good.
And but yeah, from what I remember, yeah, it's just you know, it's quite different, I guess, to this first game, but I think it's, you know, I mean, I've only played through the first game all the way through, I think, once, but I don't know. I guess for some reason I played the second game first. I don't know, for some reason, but I don't know. I just found the story to be really interesting and have some really interesting themes, and but I guess, you know, from what I remember playing the first game's still, you know, the first game's still great as well. Yeah, I guess the first game, I'm guessing its development wasn't as rushed, but so it probably didn't really have like cut content. It's still, I think the first game still has like, might have like bugs here and there on PC and things like that. But for some reason, yeah, that didn't randomly just get support years later, like it did, like the second game did. But yeah, so I remember the first game. Yeah, that's really great as well.
So with the first game being GOAT as well.
I guess, yeah. Still got to play through it again, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try and not rush through a few games, but I'll just try and blast out a few that I've played, and obviously you can say stuff that you want to say about the games as well after I put them in. But yes, Lego Star Wars 2. I'm really tempted to. Top are great, yeah. Like it's got a lot of cool content. The missions are bigger than Lego Star Wars, the video game. They have a lot more going on. It takes a lot longer to get through the missions. The puzzles are a bit more interesting. Bigger roster of characters. Yeah, I enjoy Lego Star Wars 2 an awful lot. I was really happy when it came out when I was a kid. It was so cool playing this sequel to the first Lego Star Wars, and yeah, great. Now on to this. I'd probably put this here. There's just so much content in the complete saga, and yeah, there's just so much to do. It just feels like a big, massive experience, and it feels like the definitive way to play through the story of the Skywalker saga episodes 1 to 6, and getting like the video game version of those games, you know, and events that happen in those films. Obviously, you have Battlefront 1, which goes through some of the events of those films, and then Battlefront 2, which goes through like Revenge of the Sith and bloody A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and a bit of stuff in between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope. But this gives you the full package, and it's very comedic and well done. The cutscenes are very funny. I'll just quickly talk about this one as well. Yeah, he laid the groundwork for Lego games. You can get through it pretty quick, but I like the way it teased the sequel with saying, "Oh yeah, here we are. Here's this mission where you run through the Tantive 4 playing as Vader. Now this is pretty badass. Once you get all the once you basically get all the super kit pieces or whatever it's called at the time. Yeah, I'll probably put this around this area. I feel like you can just get through it really quick, but I really like the hub world. That's pretty cool. But I feel like you just get through it really quick, but it's still a great game. It laid the groundwork for Lego games and pretty much made TT games very successful and a lot of money. But yeah, I don't know where you put these. I don't mind swapping them around or whatever. Far away with your opinions on these 3 games.
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with probably putting Mega Stars 2 there in great. Yeah, it's a great Lego game. I suppose, yeah, it does expand and improve on the first game in ways. The levels are longer, which I think that has pros and cons. Maybe with certain levels more so. But yeah, I suppose it was cool that they added the character customizer. You could create your own custom character in Exiles 2, which you couldn't do in the first game. I suppose as well, I think they had more extras in the first game and different ones that actually were more like useful. Whereas in the first game, the extras were most of them were just sort of more just cosmetic or whatever, just for fun. I guess, yeah, in the second game, it had the bounty intermissions as well, so you could find the different characters hidden throughout the different levels or maps they use for the different levels. And they've got like Lego City as well. And you can actually like rewatch the cutscenes from each level in the second game too, which you can't do in the first game without actually like having to play through those levels again. So yeah, I'll probably put that there. And then the Lego Stars, the video game, like you said, yeah, it started it all. Of course, it is a bit more basic, but it is the first Lego game by Traveller's Tales. But again, I really like it. The levels aren't too long. There's certain ones which are longer, but a lot of them, were and relatively short, which is fine, I think. It's cool how, I guess, outside of Dexter's Diner, I like how they use Dexter's Diner as a hub world as well. But I like how, like, outside of Dexter's Diner, as soon as like an evil character walks out the diner, all like the good characters will start fighting the evil character. And I used to spend ages just in that outside part, just fighting like the evil characters or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you can look at all the mini kits for the different levels, see what you see what like ship you've created. And again, like you said, yeah, it's cool how it teases at the second game by giving you that secret level, which is the start of A New Hope on the 24, but instead it's a twist. So you get to play as the villains, you get to play as Vader and Stormtrooper. But then you do end up like rescuing C-3PO as well. Yeah, I think yeah, I guess like Star Wars good video game is great too. I could probably leave it where it is, and then the complete saga, of course, it puts the two together, and yeah, that just makes for a great experience. Add some extra features, I guess. It's cool being able to play through all 6 films in one game. Just being able to jump between the different episodes and levels, and then it has a bunch more extra levels, like cut levels from like the first game, for example, or original versions of levels. Character creators back. I mean, I'd argue like there's certain things they sort of changed in the complete saga that maybe aren't so good, or things they cut out, like maybe certain sound effects for like in the prequel levels that were in Lego Star Wars a video game, but they were cut out of the levels in that game for some reason. I don't know whether they were bugs or not. I mean, there's even like one cutscene, like one of the Camino cutscenes, which has like no like actual sound effects. It just has the soundtrack playing for some reason. Yeah, it had some extra new characters as well that weren't in the first Lego Star Wars prequel characters. But still, overall, yeah, it makes for I guess the definitive Lego Star Wars experience, or like the definitive experience of 1 to 6, I suppose. And I don't know, there's much more to say. Yeah, probably, yeah, I'd probably put it in the GOAT tier as well, I guess. So I think that's all of those games, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There are a few more games. All right. I just don't want to be stuck on these all day because I've got other things planned. But I do have a bit to say about some of these games. I don't know. Maybe we could talk about the rest of them another time. I'll talk about ones. I'll put ones that are like proper cool at the front. Well, or proper interesting discussions, I feel. All right then. So I'll put low end out. Oh, actually, no, I'll put it here because at the end of the day, I wouldn't quite say it's bad or anything. But I was just disappointed that with the first Battlefront, there was no campaign. We hadn't had we didn't get Battlefront 3. We had Elite Squadron, which was hit and miss. It did give us the ground space combat stuff, and to be honest, I won't lie, you're not going to get smooth transitional ground space combat on the PSP in 2007. It's just not happening. Or was it 2008 it came out? I think it was 2008, wasn't it?
Might be, could have been 2009 though, I think. Yeah. Elite Squadron, possibly.
Elite Squadron. Let's have a look. Yeah, but nearly 2010. Bloody hell, this look. It's a PSP game. It is a PSP game, so I can't poo-poo it too much. But this looked really old, man. This looked like, well, not really old, but when I honestly always thought this was 2007, 2008. And even then, it looks like a bit of a 2006 or late 2005 game, really. But again, it is the PSP. So we still got ground space combat in it technically. The story was all right, but I'm sure Battlefront 3 would have expanded it a lot more. The heroes versus villains stuff was cool. I guess I liked how you got to play. I liked how X1 was a Jedi at the end. Is it X1 who's the main character? He is, isn't he?
I think X1 is the one who turns evil, I think, and X2 is the one you play as, I believe. I think
Fair
so.
Enough. So
yeah.
X2. Well, I'll just look him up quickly. Actually, Elite Squadron X1. Yeah, he's the bad guy. Bloody hell, he looks horrible in the bloody PSP game. He looks tragic. X2 is the good guy. There we go. Yeah, so I like how X2 is a Jedi at the end and you just get to run rampant and kill people. And we actually get some content after Endor, and we see that the Empire isn't just destroyed straight away. There's still mess to clean up. Why am I talking about that now? Oh, Battlefront 1, yeah. Space battles were naff. I wish we could have gone inside ships and blown them up. No campaign. Multiplayer felt very repetitive. It felt like the Jedi it felt really difficult to get the Jedis. I think you just have to pay to get more chances to be a hero at the start of the game. A bit weak, in my opinion. Battlefront 2, it took ages to get good, but I'll put it in good. Space battles and ground combat were a bit better. I guess I enjoyed it a fair bit. Again, not seamless ground space, but you know what? I guess they just wanted to not have the game bloody break. But I don't get why we haven't had a Star Wars game that has seamless ground to space. I don't get it, man. Like if they were able to do it in 2007 with Battlefront, 2007/2008 with Battlefront 3, why is it so hard to do it in 2025? Why can't it just be done? Because in the almost complete, what is it, an alpha or beta that they've done of Battlefront 3, you can do seamless ground to space. Well, not seamless, but pretty much near enough seamless for what the game is. Yeah, I still say it's good. I never played the campaign, so I wouldn't know what to say. And then Battlefront, what am I saying Battlefront for? Skywalker Saga, way too easy, man, and the puzzles were way too easy. I guess some of the cutscenes were decently. Well, actually, they did make me laugh, some of them, so they did a good job there. But the gameplay and the missions was a bit boring, and I felt the game was just way too easy, man. And I didn't feel encouraged to go back and do anything in it. But yeah, I guess if you want to say, what I want to do, probably talk about these four, and then move on, just because I want to try and do the other segments as well.
Yeah.
If that's all right with you, we can maybe I don't know, talk about these another time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Battlefront 1, yeah, disappointing, like you said. It's funny, actually, I can't remember whether did I pre-order that or not. I'm not sure, but I think I had it for my birthday that year, so it was not too long after it came out. But yeah, it was kind of it was disappointing, really. Again, it has, it's definitely one of the best looking Star Wars games, that's for sure. The graphics were, really, very realistic.
Mm.
That was one of its best aspects, and as well as the sound design and hearing a lot of the iconic Star Wars sounds from the films. But yeah, just had a lack of content. Yeah, no campaign. A lot of the characters at first, I think, were mostly like original trilogy characters, and I think with I think gradually with certain DLC, they might have added a few more, but again, I think they were mostly original trilogy characters. Luke and Vader, well, in certain aspects, they were cool to play as. Maybe more so when you're using the Force. Like, they hardly had any lightsaber animations. It was literally just like swinging from side to side or whatever.
Yeah.
Which at least they improved in Battlefront 2. Yeah, I guess there were some decent aspects to like just playing as a rebel or a stormtrooper. But still a disappointing game because it doesn't really, like I say, it only really mostly focuses on the original trilogy, and doesn't have many planets and much content. Yeah, that's, I suppose, one of the best aspects about it was, with the graphics. And then the second game, yeah, that was an improvement. Of course, at the start, it had a rough start, of course, with the microtransactions and all that rubbish. But, added a lot more content, I guess, and actually some prequel stuff. I guess the heroes and villains were better to play as because they had more animations and abilities, I guess, more planets. But yeah, again, that, it took a while for them to turn things around and make it into the game that it is now, and because it wasn't good when it came out. Yeah, it did have a campaign, but again, it's not something people really talk about because it's not a memorable aspect, and it was it wasn't great. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's good, like you say. And the first one's average, and then Skywalker Saga. I've only played through it once still, which is when I streamed it, but I did get some enjoyment out of it. I feel like, from what I remember of playing through it, I remember the prequel missions being a bit disappointing and maybe a bit short, some of them. Whereas I feel like when I got onto the original trilogy, I sort of enjoyed some of those missions more. But I still need to go back to the game because it's been ages, and also play it on mumble mode and do maybe 100% it eventually. I don't know. But I suppose it was still a pretty good Lego Star Wars game, with all the content. So yeah, I'd probably put it in great still. yeah. So that's it, really.
Fair enough. Elite Squadron, I pretty much accidentally reviewed this earlier, but screw it, I'll put it in good. I enjoyed the game. I played the campaign a load when I was a kid. I enjoyed doing it over and over and over again, to be honest with you. I just like the Order 66 stuff and playing as a Jedi at the end. And yeah, I just enjoyed it a lot, man. I can't. Look, it's not amazing. It's not phenomenal. It's not necessarily great. But I'd say it's low end good. Like it's definitely very playable. I'll just quickly do this as well. Yeah, good as I think you'll probably end up putting this higher, but all I'll say with Revenge of the Sith, I like how the story can go in different directions, like especially with all the different types of endings. When Anakin survives, and then he's like, "The galaxy is ours." Then he goes and kills Palpatine. He goes, "No, the galaxy is mine." And it's like, damn, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cold. What else was cool? I guess how the Sidious and Windu fight played out a bit differently. That was interesting. Maybe it's a bit crazy that I'm putting this below Elite Squadron, but I just remember playing it as a kid and I just found like the gameplay quite boring. But it wasn't bad. I just didn't really enjoy the gameplay that much.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess with Elite Squadron, I suppose I played that a fair bit as a kid. Again, of course, it's just like a sort of bit of a stripped back version of Battlefront 3, really, Elite Squadron. Yeah, again, it has its limitations being on the PSP, and even compared to other PSP games, it's not the best looking, but and the gameplay is a bit limited too compared to Battlefront 1 and 2, like the classic ones. I suppose what I remember, the stories probably had some interesting aspects to it, but it was a while since I played through it. It did have that space to ground combat. I can't remember whether there was a loading screen or not, but it did have that still. I suppose it had some different planets that went in the first two Battlefronts. Yeah, I think it also did have like in instant action or whatever. I think you could also you could play as the hero or villain, but then the opposing side would have the villain as well, or the hero. Whereas Battlefront 2 didn't. They sort of did away with that for some reason. Like you have to get mods to be able to do that, to have like the opposing side, to ensure that the opposing side has the hero or villain on their side, so you can duel them. But again, yeah, it's sort of I suppose Elite Squadron is kind of like a sign of what could have been with Battlefront 3, but yeah, I'd probably put it. I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably still put it in good, I suppose. And then Revenge of the Sith, yeah, I quite like that. Played it a lot. I think it has. I personally think it has some of the best saber combat. Some really cool moves you can do. It has a fair few levels, and of course it has that sort of what if level at the end where you can play as Anakin dueling Obi-Wan instead, and he kills Obi-Wan. There's the versus mode as well, which I spent a lot of time playing, and you don't have to have another person with you to play that. You can just duel the computer. So that was cool. Spent a lot of time just playing that. I mean, you don't get many characters to choose from, but it's just the characters from the story, really. And you get that bonus level as well with we can play as Obi-Wan against Vader in episode 4. A few other little bonus levels too, like we can play as different characters, and yeah, I suppose there's some like funny dialogue in there too. Some cheesy stuff. Again, that expands on stuff as well. Like it has some extra levels and some things that you don't see in the film, and some different scenarios as well, like you said about the Windu Palpatine fight. It doesn't really show that; it just shows the end of it in the cutscene, and then when Anakin ignites his lightsaber, you actually get to fight Windu as Anakin, which was cool. Something that might have been cool to see in the film. But yeah, so that was cool. Yeah, a lot of the boss battles were good. I did like the one with Grievous too. And yeah, I don't know, I quite like it. I'd probably put Revenge of the Sith. I'd probably put it in great personally.
Yep, I don't mind upping it, to be honest with you. That's fine. I'll put it in low and great.
That's fine.
All right then. So 2 more games that I know a fair bit about, or a little bit about, then on to the other segments. And obviously we got this one. You can talk about if you want to. Yeah, I'll probably here like it's more fun than Elite Squadron. The gameplay was decent laughs. It was about the first 2 seasons of the Clone Wars. I wish I'd waited a bit longer and done more interesting seasons. But there you go. That's just how it is. I like the certain aspects, like you could have a bunch of clones running around with you and they could help you fight the droids. And yeah, it was an all right laugh. And you could sometimes fly from ship to ship. And yeah, it just seemed like decent prequel fun, I suppose. Probably around here, Republic Commando. I played about half of it, and yeah, it was good fun. I feel like a proper elite badass soldier. Yeah, it's just a very good laugh. And then this I haven't played, so yeah, I'll let you have the floor about these 3 games.
Yeah, so Lego Star Wars 3, yeah, I played a fair bit of it, enjoyed it. There's certain aspects I probably didn't enjoy so much, like, even though it was cool how they had that introduced that feature where, like, they had those levels which had, like, the big battles. So there was, like, a bigger sort of, they could afford to have more characters on screen and more going on, and I suppose there was that bigger sort of scope, where they had, like, these, big battles going on the ground, and you could build things. I don't know. I wasn't always as big of a fan of those levels, though. Just the gameplay aspect and having to build the different things and whatnot. I suppose I probably just preferred to just play the normal sort of levels on the ground. But I did also like how, I mean, it has way more characters than the other Lego Star Wars games before it, and so also some like other ones you can unlock which are different, like that aren't from the Clone Wars. They might be from like other areas of Star Wars, which is cool. It's one of the last, I suppose it's one of the last Lego games to not have dialogue, to not have like, where the Lego characters,
all that crap.
yep,
Yeah,
to have the mumbles, yep.
Imagine that no context for one of your intros. That'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah, could use that. Yeah.
Because to be honest, most no context stuff you use. Sorry to go on a tangent quickly, but most no context stuff you use, I thought I can remember going bah and denied and all this madness. But if I go like that, I'm thinking I'll be thinking when did I go? So that'd really catch me off guard.
True, could use that. Yeah. But yeah, I liked how also you could kind of the main hub world was the Republic.
It was a gunship, wasn't it?
It was like a Republic Venator, I think. It was kind of like the precursor to like the Star Destroyer, I think. Like the ones they had in the Clone Wars. I think it's Republic Venator.
Oh yeah, not gunship, yeah, Venator. That's
whatever it's called, something like that. Yeah, that was pretty big, I suppose, to explore. I think they did bring the character creator back. I can't remember whether you could make more characters in this one though or not, but yeah, I liked that, and how you could go to the Invisible Hand as well, which is Grievous's ship and the one from Episode 3, and you could actually go to the room where Anakin and Obi-Wan dual Dooku in Episode 3. There is also that level as well, like this is like based off the from the Clone Wars film, where like you can play as, I think, Anakin against Dooku or something. But yeah, a lot of the levels, of course, are just based off Series 1 and 2, and so there's there's a decent amount. But again, like, it would have been cool if maybe they maybe made the game later, so it had more, or like had levels based off like later series of the Clone Wars. That would have been more interesting stuff to work with. But yeah, I guess it has a few downsides, but it's still quite fun as well. But yeah, again, I think it's a bit of a shame that as the Clone Wars went on, it didn't really get any more games. It only seemed to have like the tie-in games at the start when it first started out, like based off Series 1 and maybe Series 2, and that was it really. But yeah, it's still I think it's still a great Lego game. I'd probably put it in great personally, Lego Star Wars 3. And then what else is there? Republic Commando. Republic Commando, to be honest, I barely played it. I've seen gameplay, and I remember watching a friend play through it a while ago, but I've still got to really play through it properly myself. Like I say, I haven't played much of it, so I'll probably just leave it where it is. And then Squadrons, I did play through that. I didn't play the online, but I only played through the campaign, and that was pretty boring, really. Certain aspects to the campaign, which I guess were kind of interesting in terms of the characters and whatnot, but even though its gameplay was decent in a sense, it was, I suppose it was only really would have appealed to a small niche. And again, it's just not a game I've gone back to and not one I plan to go back to. It's just not really. It's just, I don't know, in terms of Star Wars games, it's not really the most interesting, and doesn't really have much going for it. So I'd probably leave it in average. I think bottom of average.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess that's that then. Oh, sorry, I was just checking something online. Yeah, so let's move on to. Oh, bloody hell. Tired, man. I don't know why. Anyway, surprised none of them are in bad. If I was being really stingy, you could have probably put a few in bad. But you know what? Nah, it takes a lot of effort to make a video game, and they've done very well as far as Star Wars games go. There's not really many franchises that have, games of this caliber or pretty much any of this caliber. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I look at other game franchises that I've played that have a lot of different games, I don't know, Marvel games, I haven't really played many, but the games I've played, they're maybe good or great at the best. I played a lot of SpongeBob games. There's been hell of a lot of SpongeBob games. Probably BFBB would be probably round one of these two. Probably great. And then all the other games Cosmic Shake would probably be here. And then every other game, Rehydrate would probably be an average. But then every other game be average or below. So you know what I'm saying? It's hard to take already existing IPs and like make something amazing. But because Star Wars is such a big, interesting universe with such a variety of just everything, you can really do a good job at making a lot of cool games. Well, let's move on to a few segments. So we'll start off with. Here we go. I've typed them all down, the segments. So we'll start off with yes, new, yes. Sorry, that accidentally. So we're going to do Liam. How much money to ballroom dance with Ewan McGregor and kiss him on the lips? Minus £1 million. No, I'm joking. I'm not going.
Yes, you better be. Yeah, you better be.
I'm not going down that route. It would have been funny to completely go ballistic and go down that route, but no. Already enough Ewan McGregor yishis no. So the real one is actually one of the more serious yishis no's. So to go on a mission with the Bad Batch, and you've got to rescue like a Republic politician from like the CIS in a dangerous base. So you get to meet the Bad Batch and have a laugh with them, but this mission is like death-defying. So, but you're most probably going to get out of it alive because the Bad Batch are pretty good, but there's a risk that you get shot and killed. So, let's start off with 500 grand.
Wow, that's
because it's your life. It's your life that's on the line, isn't
that's
it?
quite the start.
Yeah.
No, probably more.
2 million.
Maybe a bit more.
5 mil.
Yeah, sure.
Fair enough. I personally would have gone for like bloody 4 billion, man, because I don't want to be risking my life. You know what I'm saying? I really don't want to. But yeah, fair enough. 5 mil. That is fair. You know, like you most probably are going to get out of it. The Bad Batch are pretty good at what they do. But yeah, but if it was to just meet the Bad Batch, if they were somehow real, I wouldn't mind meeting them. They all seem like a good laugh. Apart from Crosshair when he was evil before he turned good, I wouldn't want to meet him. But the rest of them, yeah, I'd love to say what's going on. I'll probably pay like 100 quid to meet them, to be honest, if they were real. You know, they're proper cool soldiers. Wrecker's a good lad, but you wouldn't want him to pat you on the back with how strong he is. That would lead to a trip to the doctors.
Yeah.
And he does get quite annoyed easily, doesn't he? So you wouldn't want to have a big debate with him about anything. I mean, he got upset when Tech was like, "We have chips in our head, you fool," and he's like, "Well, I like to blow things up because I like to blow things up." And then he started fighting all the clones, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, you bald madman, Hunter said. So, maybe not the ball bit, but anyway, fair enough. All right, so now on to where the bloody hell are we? Oh, okay, so here we go. Generally knowledgeable. So these are a few Star Wars edition. So here we go. So as of 2024, as we don't have the results in 2025 yet, as the year's only a few months old. Which is the highest Star Wars selling game as of 2024? Is it Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, Jedi Fallen Order, or Star Wars Battlefront 2015?
Oh, okay. Highest selling.
Yeah, man.
I know they were all popular, to be fair. Oh, actually, I don't know. I feel like it's between the Skywalker Saga and Battlefront. I want to say Battlefront. This is Battlefront the reboot, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll say that.
Final answer then.
Yeah, final answer.
Correct, Liam. Well done.
Yes.
I think it sold something like I don't know. I think like 15 million. I could be wrong because originally it said the Complete Saga was the highest selling game, but it wasn't as of 2024.
It did. It did feel like a lot of people were playing it at the time, though. But I think at the same time, it was it was DICE. Of course, they moved away from Battlefield and they developed this, and so there are a lot of people playing those games who jumped onto this game. So there are a lot of like people who probably weren't really Star Wars fans either who played this and bought it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it doesn't. I can't find it. I really can't find it. But basically, I looked at a top 10 list for 2024, and that was the correct answer. Hold on, how many copies? 14. Oh, it says 14 million. That can't be. It has to be a bit more than that. Anyway, on the list it said that was the highest. So there you go. Well done, Liam. Very, very well done. Now on to who directed Empire Strikes Back. Is it A, George Lucas, B, Richard Marquand, C, Irving Kershner, or D, Nicholas Meyer?
Oh, this is an easy one for me.
Oh, you know.
Irving
Oh,
Kersh.
damn it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not even going to say
Irving
final answer. That's
Kershner.
correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it. I thought that'd be a harder one.
No.
Oh,
Yep.
I should have put that one first. All right.
Yeah. Should have.
This is probably going to be an easy one as well. These are hard for me because I wouldn't have known off the top of my head. Oh yeah, you know Nicholas May, he bloody died when he was like 39. That's crazy.
Who is he again?
Like stroke and died. He was the one who directed Return of the Jedi.
No, he didn't. That was Richard Marquand.
Oh shit, Nicholas May is the bloke who directed the Wrath of Khan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah, Richard. Richard.
Oh, yeah, he was only that old, wasn't he, when he died? Yeah.
Sorry, I can't believe I completely got that wrong. Yeah. So in Royal Tunbridge Wells, he passed away. It said.
Yeah, he was Welsh, wasn't he?
Yeah. Tragic though, really tragic that he died so young. He had a stroke. That was it. Yeah, my bad for getting all that wrong. But it's nice to know that a Welsh man, was telling everyone how it's done. And I'm not trying to be some big Welsh patriot or anything. I'm just saying it's nice that it's just nice to see people from the UK succeed in something, and do really well and direct things, and so yeah, fair play to the lad. It's so sad that he died at such a young age, but I guess that's just sadly how life goes sometimes. So, but fair play to the lad. All right, next question. Where were the Hoth sequences filmed? Is it A, Iceland, B, Norway, C, Greenland, D, Finland?
I
was really worried you were going to say, this is easy. Answer.
Yeah, I've heard this. I think I've heard about this fact. I'm just trying to. I can't remember for sure which country. So it's what, Iceland, Norway, Finland, or
Iceland, Norway, Finland, Greenland. Those are the answers. Well, those are the options to pick.
I don't know. This is right. Is it Norway? Final answer.
Well done. Fair play.
Okay.
Fair play. Your Star Wars knowledge is up to par. That is the correct answer.
Nice. 3 out of 3.
All right, then. What is the next? Oh, all right. Is a would you rather? Would you rather be a clone Jedi, Rebel, or Imperial?
Jedi.
Really? I'd rather be a Rebel, man. Like, the Jedi have to live such a strict bloody life. I know they don't have to. They technically can do what they want. But they can't, Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't allowed to meet a woman, settle down, and have kids. It just seems a bit like a difficult, brutal life. Can't care about anyone. If your Jedi friends are kidnapped, you have to just cut off all your emotions. It's like it's a little bit. Just seems a bit cold, really. It just seems a bit like mad to expect a sentient being to live like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose. I don't know. I just thought it'd be an interesting aspect. I don't know. Maybe just being able to experience that. And
we know what you want to do. You will buy me this pint. You will stop doing stupid impressions and all that stuff. That's what you really want. Just Jedi mind trick everyone.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You will give me a pay rise.
I don't know. I think it'd just be interesting to look through the Jedi archives and maybe the holocrons as well, like the restricted section, maybe. I guess just to like, I guess maybe meet all of the Jedi as well, like the Jedi Council, and
We all know you want to meet Liam.
mm,
Your good old friend, Master Windu.
yeah.
Very, very tempted to say the obvious answer, but I thought, no, stay on the right track.
You would do right by that, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just be cool to like be able to use the Force as well and wield a lightsaber.
Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, it has its drawbacks, but I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
I was tempted to be a clone trooper, but they all end up bloody ridiculously old and bloody wrinkled very quick, so that's a bit bad.
Well, they don't live nearly as long either, do they?
Yeah, so it's not really that good. Sith now, they're evil. Although it sounds like a decent laugh, like I wouldn't want to go around being evil. That's horrible. And Jedi, yeah, probably Rebel would be my number one, then Jedi, then the other. Then being a clone or Sith just seemed like dreadful options. All right, then. Next one. Where are we? Let's have a look. Now on to job slobs. Work as a bounty hunter or work in Cloud City as one of the guards. Now, before you answer, I just want to say, being a bounty hunter, for the viewers that are watching, you don't have to be an evil one. You can just hunt down. Well, you're not really evil, are you? Most time, you're just hunting down criminals. I know Boba Fett and Jango Fett have done some evil things. Technically, like Jango was fine with innocent people getting killed on occasion, but as a bounty hunter, you can choose to just hunt evil people. Or you can just hunt whoever they tell you to, as whatever you want. But yeah, what would you pick?
So what was it again? Sorry,
bounty hunter. Guarding, being a bounty hunter or a guard in Cloud City. It's like one of those blue dress guards.
I don't know, mate. Being a bounty hunter, I suppose, just because you're actually like traveling to different planets, and
that's
a
good point.
And just, I guess should be more interesting. I don't know.
I reckon Cloud City probably gets a bit boring after a while as well. But no, I'll go for the Cloud City guard. To be honest with you, I'd rather. Apart from when the Empire come in, it's a pretty safe, cushy job. Really, you just have to take a bit of crap off Lando once in a while, and that bald bloke with the robot thing round his head, round his ears, and all that. Just take orders from them too. Basically, all you're doing is walking around a nice, peaceful, space station type planet. Well, a space station within this gas planet. That's just what I personally want. Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have the risks involved, I guess, compared with being the bounty hunter, I suppose. And
me, I want to try when it comes to death-defying things to be risk-free, unless it's something serious, like I don't know, Russian soldier, or a soldier's trying to kill me, or someone's trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Or hurt someone I care about. Then obviously I'm prepared to die, but I'm not going to bloody just throw my life away being a bounty hunter. But it's each to their own. That's fair enough. Here we go. We haven't done this one for a while. Aggro Aaron, Star Wars edition. So this is something that just annoys me about Star Wars, and I'm thinking you might be surprised about this one. It's not Jar Jar Binks. It's not George Lucas's re-edits. It's not anything about the prequels. It's not even the sequels. It's something that happens in a lot of Star Wars. They're just scared to kill people off, man. Like, I don't get why when... I get that most big franchises like keeping all the characters in it, but, I don't know, it just gets on my nerves. It's like this person's dead. No, they're not. This person's dead. No, they're not. And it's like, well, then there's no stakes. It's just plot armor. You know what I'm saying? And even when they do die, they come back as like force spirits. And it's like, well, we're still getting them in the film. Like, I just rather them be gone, kaput. If it was up to me and I was writing Star Wars, I'd just have them show up as ghosts at the end, like Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin just like waving at him briefly. I wouldn't want them to keep popping up and saying, "Oh, I know that most fans probably disagree with me, but I wouldn't want them to keep saying, "Oh, hello, how are you? La di da di da, I can help you," because it just takes away from like the character dying somewhat. That's why I like. I think the best time they killed a character off was Tech's death in the Bad Batch, because at least with him, he's permanently dead. There's no nonsense. There's no him coming back as a spirit or a ghost or anything like that. He's just dead, kaput, done for, and he's hopefully having a good time in the afterlife, in heaven and whatever. Having a good laugh and peaceful times. But obviously, I don't want him to be able to communicate with the Bad Batch. Just as far as the material Star Wars world goes, I don't want him to be there. I want his death to mean something. You know what I'm saying? And it did mean a lot. It gives that so much power when he's sacrificed at the end of season 2. And honestly, probably it's one of the saddest, probably the second saddest thing in the whole of, well, maybe, I don't know. It hits me quite hard. It's not as sad as the thing I saw in Jedi Survivor, but it's up there as one of the saddest things I've seen in Star Wars, because it just sucks. It's just sad that Tech has to die, but he wanted to help his fellow comrades escape. But yeah, obviously the saddest moment I've seen in Star Wars, or the thing that hits me hard the most, is when Andy Serkis is like, he goes through all that stuff to get everyone out of prison. He's just like, can't swim. I was like, oh. I know I mentioned it before, but I was just so sad when that happened. And the whole Anakin, I'm sorry, that one hit me quite hard. And the although I mock Revenge of the Sith, and I mock that scene a lot, like when he's going, when he's saying, your new empire and all that crap. I thought, that was a bit silly. But at the end, when he's like, Anakin, I loved you like a brother. I hate you. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them, not leave everything in darkness. That was actually one of the saddest things I've seen, to be honest. That was very well acted. I won't keep talking about the saddest moments in Star Wars, but yeah, that just annoys me. They can never leave characters dead. They have to bring people back all the time. Silly.
No, yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, with that. Yeah, I do feel like it's like in a few of the animated shows I've watched. It feels like they don't kill off enough of the main characters. Like that, it seems like they might kill off one just because they feel like they have to. They've got to that point where like they need to, like they just had to have had killed off at least one character. But yeah, it's like I think a lot of people with a Bad Batch might have thought, oh, perhaps they're all going to be killed or eventually the end or something. Of course, they all survive except for Echo.
Yeah.
Was it Echo? Not Echo, Tech, sorry.
Tech, yeah.
Yeah. And again, people didn't know whether he was going to be brought back, but he wasn't, which I prefer, like you.
Yeah. Actually, I think I might have been saying Echo, or did I say Tech? Oh, I can't remember.
I think you said Tech. Yeah, I think you said Tech. But yeah, it's yeah, it is something they sort of shy away from. Like, I know it's meant to be. I know a lot of Star Wars is meant to be more family friendly and whatever, but yeah, you do think, oh, they could kill off characters more, or like, or like characters that should be dead should stay dead mostly.
Yeah.
I can understand the whole Force Ghost thing as well. Like, maybe not wanting them to keep popping up as a Force Ghost. I know technically, like, Jedi are the exception because, usually they can turn into a Force Ghost. But yeah, I don't know whether you want to keep seeing them pop up. But I mean, the thing is, we saw more of Anakin, didn't we, in Ahsoka? And like he popped up as a Force Ghost again at the end of that, and we might end up seeing more of him in Series 2. But the thing is that Qui-Gon showed up as a Force Ghost in Kenobi as well at the end, and I didn't agree with that because he wasn't meant to have been able to have like learnt to manifest himself physically, like as a spirit. He's only meant to have been able to like just manifest himself as a voice. But they changed that there for some reason, which I didn't agree with. But yeah, like you say, I think they should kill off more characters and make them stay dead. Yeah.
What else have I put down? 3 final topics then. So, thoughts on Star Wars' run on Disney Plus and the shows overall. Like the Bad Batch, Andor's amazing. Mando season 3 is a bit, and then season 2. As much as I did enjoy it and it was entertaining, I don't know. I don't really. I think the first one he just seemed like more of a cold badass one, and the second one he's a bit more like happy chappy. But I suppose that's his arc, isn't it? I don't like how Grogu came back in the third one as well. I thought that was a bit daft. I thought they should have kept him apart for a while. It takes away from how powerful that scene was when he took his helmet off in front of Grogu. I feel like Grogu had his place in season 1 and 2, and now see you later. Bad Batch. Yeah, a lot of people online poo-poo it and say like it's not that good. I honestly really enjoyed it. I'm probably one of the few people who's watched the whole of the Bad Batch and not all of the Clone Wars. I watched the Clone Wars a lot when I was a kid, but it was mostly like the first 3 seasons and a bit of season 4. And I've watched the finale, what's the final, the very final 4 episodes, and then the Bad Batch 4 episodes. I watched them. I think the run on Disney Plus has been all right, but I'm not really a fan of any of the films they've done, to be honest. But again, that wasn't really, they haven't done a film since the Rise of Skywalker, isn't it? So it's mostly just TV shows. I don't like the re-edit. I don't like how the re-edits are forced on there, like the McClunky. Even though it does make me laugh, it's like, you know, he's just making Star Wars more stupid, and he's ruining the scene that was already like great at first, and then he made it a bit stupid, and now he's just making it like, as much as I laugh at it as like a piece of film and how deluded George Lucas is and how he's a bit daft, as like something that I really enjoy in Star Wars, it just makes me like face palm. I think, well, this is just some bizarre crap. Like at the end of the day, there aren't really many directors that go back and re-edit the whole film. Like it's just George Lucas who bloody, in his mind, he's making it more, it's making it better. But Alien going McClunky with his bizarre puppet mouth and then getting shot with hand going like that with his neck, it's like you might as well just make the whole scene into like a YTP and just make it silly and rewind everything and fast forward it and have him go whoa, 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 and then he go you might as well just go mad with it if he wants, because it's just, it just seems like he just keeps re-editing the scene and making it more silly. Kenobi, the final 2 episodes are great. The first 4 were quite hit and miss. What else was there on Disney Plus? Boba Fett. I really enjoyed it at the time, but looking back on it, it's not really the best. I just say it's an average show. Visions was probably slightly above average. Ahsoka was mostly painfully average and quite boring. What else did we have? I might be forgetting something. I'm not sure. I know we have the Acolyte, but I never bothered with that. There's just too much stuff out there, man. They just need to calm down. But again, that's how it is with the big franchises now. I think the run's okay, but they really need to like up their game. And I wish in the Bad Batch that, as much as I'm happy that most of the Bad Batch didn't die, I honestly thought it would have been way more powerful and stuck with people more if one of those special clones killed off Echo, because that's how it was looking when all the gas was going around him. And then if Rampart had shot like Wrecker in the face, that would have been really shocking. And then Crosshair gets that shot to Rampart's hand to separate the handcuffs from Omega. Obviously, I know that Rampart's a bit of a crap, boring villain, but it would have been not Rampart. Oh, who is it? The one who's the villain after Rampart? Rampart's okay, actually. He's quite he's quite a twat, really, and he goes on an interesting arc. It's an okay arc how he ends up joining the Bad Batch briefly, and when they push him out of the ship, that was hilarious. He goes, "Ah!" That was quite funny. No, it's not Rampart. It's the Rampart's like some hybrid British American sounding bloke. I'm on about the bloke with the slick back hair who runs the prison. Hemlock, that's it. Yeah, he wasn't very good.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
That would have got you really angry at him and made the final sequence interesting. I just don't like how they have to have the clone stuff in there. Like, oh, look at this. This links to the sequels. He was trying to clone himself. Palpatine was. Hooray! It's like, no, it still doesn't make sense how he got thrown off a Death Star and then it blew up and then he somehow was able to clone himself. It's stupid. Yeah, I just think it's all like, I don't know. The Bad Batch is still a great show. I know some people aren't bothered. I enjoyed it a lot. That's all I guess I got to say with the direction that it's going.
Yeah, the Disney Plus stuff. Yeah, it's been hit and miss, really. Yeah, it seems like most of the live action stuff hasn't been good, apart from, I'd say, Mando Series 1 and 2, Andor Series 1, pretty much. They're probably the only live action shows that have been, and series that have been at least good. Otherwise, it tends to be the animated shows that tend to be better, I'd say. But yeah, the Bad Batch was pretty good overall. Trying to think. I know there's Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, shite, yeah. That was all right. I didn't mind that. Some nice little shorts. I'd say that was kind of good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Sorry, I completely forgot about that one. Got a decent show, man. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, that one focused on Ahsoka and Dooku. The Ahsoka stuff wasn't so good, but the Dooku stuff was more interesting and compelling.
And that Yaddle lady getting squashed by the gate, that was pretty effed up for a kid show.
Well, we thought she was squashed, but I don't think she did get squashed by the door, did she?
But she still died from that, didn't she?
Possibly.
I thought that's what killed her.
I don't know if that's what killed her. I think Dooku. I think she held the door open, and then I think in the end Dooku defeated her and he killed her, didn't he? I think.
Oh, I'm not sure. Okay,
I think so.
Bit of a shame.
But yeah, so yeah, the Dooku stuff was better. I'd say like those last few episodes were better. So that show overall was kind of like good. And then we had Tales of the Empire as well, but that was disappointing from what I remember. That wasn't the best. And then yeah, I suppose the animated stuff. I guess the first thing was Clone Wars Series 7, which was pretty great overall, I'd say. Like the Bad Batch arc. The arc with the Martez sisters wasn't so good, but then like the last arc with the Siege of Mandalore, that was some of the best.
That was probably like
Star Wars content, really.
Yeah, that is definitely the best animated Star Wars content I've ever seen, and it honestly might be the best Star Wars content since. I mean, I personally like Andor more because it feels a lot more real and raw. But objectively, I don't know, all the animation, the story, and the shots, and just everything about that the Siege of Mandalore, and like all the action scenes and. Bro, and the very ending, like when you see all the clone trooper helmets, and that's what this was all about, the Clone Wars. Amazing. I didn't. Shay Thriller said that he cried a tear. I didn't actually shed a tear at it. I wasn't even that close to shedding a tear. I thought, shit, what happens? What's the ending? It's just a bunch of clone helmets. But I do get it. If you've been watching the Clone Wars for years, and that's the end, like a bunch of clone helmets and Vader's visiting the crash ship. That is a bit of a tearjerker, I'm sure you didn't get upset because you're
yeah. I wonder what he's going to say.
Robot. I was sorry. I was about to say your hardware doesn't allow you to do it. That's what I tried to stop myself. And
then, tried to stop you. Just no. I don't know. You still had to say something.
I've rewatched that highlight where I'm going. The Amazon owner. I am no. What was it? This is not the works. I am a robot. I just can't stop laughing at that. And your face is like, It's just like, brilliant. But have you ever teared up at any Star Wars content, or have you always just been like, oh yeah, that was pretty good, but I don't ever feel emotional about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Damn, really? What? What's
I'm trying to
shots or
think of what.
scenes?
I think the when Mando takes his helmet off, like with Grogu.
Oh yeah, that's a really. I get why people might tear up at that. That's a very
Um,
amazing moving moment.
Trying to think of what else. I think to be fair, I think as well in the Siege of Mandalore, you know when they're on the Venator, Ahsoka and Rex,
Yeah.
and then Order 66 happens, and he's trying to like
Oh yeah, that is quite a
hold himself back
powerful
from doing it.
moment. Yeah, finding
Yeah,
fives. Damn, yeah, that was pretty powerful. Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else was. I'm just trying to think of what else it might be. I guess there's. I mean, I don't think you're really going to watch Rebels, are you? Or do you
No,
think? Or
probably
yeah,
not.
like
I've
Rebel,
just got.
like with Rebels. In the last series, when one of the main characters, when he, do you mind if I spoil it? I guess or.
Yeah, far away. Yeah.
Yeah, like in one of the final episodes, like towards the end of series 4, the final series, the one of the characters, the main characters of the crew, like he was a former Jedi, Kanan. He sacrifices himself, and that was quite an emotional scene with like the music and what happens there. And I'm trying to think of what else. I suppose. I guess Clone Wars Series 5 as well. Do you mind, like, if I sort of spoil this as well,
Yeah,
or
it's
do you
probably
think?
going to take me ages to get through it, so you might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, in Clone Wars Series 5, there's an arc where. Do you remember Duchess Satine?
Nah.
No. Okay. Well, she gets killed anyway, and like there's a few other characters, and well, well-known characters, but yeah, that's quite emotional because of how that's done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. I'm not sure whether there was anything in the Bad Batch or not. I don't know. I guess maybe as well with like, well, I guess Revenge of the Sith, like the scene you mentioned with Obi-Wan, like
Yeah, it was quite moving.
having a go at Anakin, and maybe even Return of the Jedi as well when like Luke unmasks Vader.
Oh yeah, that is pretty moving. Yeah, different things make
Yeah.
people feel different ways, don't they? Like most of the scenes you mentioned, I didn't really. I get why people might tear up at them, but again, it's different things for different people. Like for me, I think I mentioned before how when the ship's flying away and that little robot saying he wants to be with Marva, who unfortunately passed away. Yeah, that one really got to me, to be honest. And I just thought the scene was so beautiful and beautifully shot. But I was grieving at the time. And what else? What else in Star Wars? Really close to when Obi-Wan was saying how he was sorry to Anakin, and how he was blaming himself. And then he said, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. I am your I did this to myself, and I'm going to destroy you." And it's like, damn, that is pretty cold. And I really, as much as I thought the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was most objectively bad, I could really relate to it at the time. Obi-Wan like having to pick himself up and stuff. I really enjoyed that aspect of the show. It's just a shame that a lot of it was bloody silly and daft and made into kiddish stuff. But hey ho, there you go. But yeah, different things affect people differently, and you feel a certain way by them. Like I would never have thought that I would have shed a tear at Marvel in a million years. Him going, and I am Iron Man, and he dies. Didn't care. Wasn't okay. Not didn't care. I was a bit like, damn. But I kind of predicted that Captain America or Tony Stark was going to die. What else is really sad? Uncle Ben dying, and what else? Doc Ock sacrificing himself. There's some kind of sad moments. But the thing that really caught me off guard, I think I mentioned it on the podcast before, Guardians 3, when he's so nervous about going back to see his granddad again. and you think, oh, this is just going to end a bit badly, but he has to go and do this because that's what he ran away from at the start of the trilogy, and now we get in a full circle of him going back to normal human life, and then he opens the door and there's loads of pictures of him and his mom. Yeah, shed a few tears at that one. I was like, damn, I was honestly clapping. A film has never caught me off guard like that before, because usually with sad scenes, you can see him coming usually, but with that, I did not see that coming. I thought, bravo, solid 9.5 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 film. That probably my favorite Marvel film. And I like how bittersweet it is as well, with Gamora not remembering anything at the end, and he just has to sort of like live with that. Like, yeah, she can't remember what's happened, and she can't remember that she was with Star-Lord. I feel like that is that more bittersweet stuff sticks with you, you know what I'm saying? Like it just yeah, and him leaving the Guardians of the Galaxy to try and live a normal life, like all that stuff, it sticks with you a lot more than like just happy chappy endings all the time.
I suppose, yeah.
Obviously, you need your happy chappy endings and you need your very sad endings once in. Some very sad endings do get them on nerves, but some of them are quite moving. But yeah, okay. So there's 2 more topics I've got. So this is more just one question. Would you want to see Star Wars end in 10 or 20 years if it just keeps going in the same direction of just? So let's say it's just all like Star Wars sequels type content and Rey content and crap. And just films, not video games. So films, would you want to see them end in 10, 20 years if they're just being crap?
Yeah, what is it like? Just 10 or 20 years, or just
10 to 20 years, let's say. Let's say they're just really bad films.
I suppose, yeah. Especially if they just kept making more bad ones, yeah.
Yeah, fair play. Because I know when I asked GC this about Doctor Who, he said, "No, I wanted to go on forever." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, it makes me feel like I'm a part of something." It was some bizarre reason. It's like, yeah, but even with ended franchises, you can still be a part of something, can't you? Like Atlantis is only like 1 film. Well, it's 2 films, and the second one wasn't very good, like the Disney's Atlantis. But bro, I still talk about that with people who watch that film. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need franchises to go on forever to be a part of something.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can understand wanting it to go on, like especially if you're a big fan, I guess, and like maybe I don't know. Maybe it can be a bit sad. It can be sad if perhaps that there's not going to be any more new content. Maybe even though there's even though there might be loads of stuff to look back on and go back to, but
yeah,
I guess if like it's your favorite franchise, maybe then you want to see more from it, I guess. But ideally good stuff. But
yeah, man.
Yeah, so I can understand that, really.
I guess, but Doctor Who, it's hard to keep making that because it's the same thing every episode. Like, alien villain comes in, Doctor has to stop the alien villain. Obviously, they do tons of variations of that, but that's pretty much what every episode is. I can't think of an episode that isn't that off the top of my head. Yeah. So, final question: Star Wars future projects. I'm trying to look at future Star Wars films. Shame that bloody game wasn't very good. What was it? Bounty Hunter game or whatever. Can't remember what it's called now.
Outlaws,
yeah. Real bloody shame.
Yeah, I think they've probably like done updates and patches, but I don't know if that's like made much of a difference. I'm not sure.
No.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't when it came out as well. I think it was a bit buggy, and I don't know whether the story was the best either, and whatever. So shame, yeah.
I'm trying to look at like what the next films are. Doesn't seem to. It just comes up with other crap.
And well, Star Wars Celebration was recently. That was like last weekend, was it, or something? I think films are, I think, Mandalorian and Grogu
That's
in
come up, yeah.
26, I think.
We should
And
all go and
then
see that one. That'd be a great laugh. See what's happening with it.
maybe, I don't know if it's going to be any good, but
Yeah, if it's
we'll
complete
see.
crap, then I guess just maybe skip it. But it could be a decent laugh. If it's crap, I could just go in a bit pissed or whatever. I could have like 3 or 4 Stellas and just walk in and see what I think.
Yeah, you might have a better time, I guess, with it.
And then I'm doing about 20 million impressions of you and George and
Oh god, yeah.
Get the security on this bearded madman. Yes, I agree with that. Or get me 10 more, get me 10 pints now. And him after half a pint, he's a bloody strange man anyway. I think isn't there meant to be a Ray film? I don't know.
It was, but I don't know whether I just don't know whether that's been pushed back or not, because there hasn't really much. There hasn't really been any more like updates on that. Because I know that Mandalorian Grogu is going to be the next one coming out now, whereas originally it was going to be the Ray film. Yeah. And I think I know there's a new film they announced. There's meant to be a new film with Ryan Gosling.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know whether that's Starfighter. I think I don't know. That's coming out in 27. I think
he's obviously the best known for the Barbie film. So
well, it doesn't. The thing is, as well, he might be a big star, but it's not going to make a difference if the film, is no good. So
yeah, I don't know. And even if he's a good actor, again, it's not going to make any difference, is it? Like bloody Samuel L. Jackson's one of the best actors ever, and Phantom Menace wasn't that good, and Attack of the Clones wasn't that good, and Revenge of the Sith was pretty all right. Who else is really good? Ewan McGregor's a pretty good actor. Again, can't save the prequels. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're a good actor doesn't mean that you're going to do good performances. It's like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. After 2000, they're mostly just both been in not particularly good films. De Niro's been in some okay ones like Limitless, Joker, and The Irishman, but he hasn't been. There's going to be far more crap films, is all I'm saying. But yeah, I was going to quickly go over some of the games. We've got Zero Company. I don't know what the hell that's going to be.
I think it's going to be a real-time strategy game. I think, like the XCOM games. I think.
Interesting.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't really that bothered about RTSs anymore, but you know what? With Star Wars slapped on it, Star Wars Soldiers. Could be fun, I guess. Star Wars Eclipse. I don't know what the hell that's all about.
That was announced a while ago. Like I remember there being like a sort of teaser trailer, which was just like a cinematic trailer, but nothing's been said about it for ages. So I don't know what's going on with that.
We have got the Old Republic remake. I bet you're all somewhat hyped for that one.
Oh, the thing is, that was announced a few years back too. But again, what happened with that was it was meant to be developed by, I think originally it was being developed by Aspire, which is the company that's been porting over these old Star Wars games. Yeah. But then I don't know. I think apparently they did like I think they showed off a bit of gameplay or something to, I don't know, it was Lucasfilm or whoever, and I don't think they liked what they saw. So so they got rid of Aspire, I think, and now it's Saber Interactive who are developing it. And so I guess it's been delayed because of that. But again, we haven't heard anything on that for ages, so I don't know when that's coming out or if it's still coming out. I'm not really sure.
Sorry. I only just realised Andor Season 2's out. What the hell?
It is, yeah. Yeah. I haven't started watching it yet, to be fair.
I'm bloody happy with that, man. I need to bloody watch it.
But this time they're releasing 3 episodes a week.
That's brilliant. To be honest, that needs to be the next thing I watch, man. Tomorrow. Although I've got films that the robot's paying me to watch. I've got to put that on hold for bloody Andor. I've just got to binge through Andor, man. This should be great. I'm looking forward to this. I've been looking.
We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, they're releasing 3 episodes a week, so I guess it'll only take maybe 4 weeks or so for them to release all the episodes. Then, if they're releasing that many at a time. So Oh, and I think they've released a new another animated series. I think it's Tales of the Underworld. I
Oh,
think it's
okay.
called. So I think one of the arcs follows Cad Bane. I think his origin, and I'm not sure who the other one is though.
Yeah.
So it must be two bounty hunters, I think.
Any other shows coming up, or?
Oh, not sure. Are there any other shows coming up? I don't know. Actually, I can't think of any. I'm not sure whether anything was announced at Star Wars Celebration or not. I'm not sure. I don't know. Oh, I suppose Ahsoka series 2. I don't know. That's next year though. They've recast. Bale and Skull. You know how Ray Stevenson passed away.
Yeah, very sad, unfortunately.
They've recast him. It's someone from Game of Thrones. He's playing him. Who's a friend of him. I can't remember his name though.
Is it?
Can't remember his name. I
Is
think he
it Liam?
plays some.
Liam
Does he play
Cunningham?
someone called? He plays someone called. I think he's quite tall. He's like 6'6" or 6'7" or something.
6'6". Is it?
He plays someone in Game of Thrones. I can't remember what his character's called though.
The Hound.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's.
Yeah, he's the only one who's that tall. There's the Mountain, but he's 6'9", I think.
Well, this actor's taller than Ray Stevenson was, though. I think.
Yeah, the Hound is a giant.
So,
I think it's Rory something. I can't remember his surname.
Yeah, he's playing. I think he's playing Bane and Skull now in series 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Rory McCann. That's it. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, his perform. I know you're not bothered about Game of Thrones, but his performance in Game of Thrones is one of the best characters in the show. Probably like top 5. And honestly, it's pretty amazing, man. I'm looking at all the other stuff he's been in though, and I mean, he was in Hot Fuzz, and he was, I guess, okay in that. He didn't really have any lines. He just played a bit of a slow character. He was a henchman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was okay. But it's like some actors, their only amazing performances. Game of Thrones, it's like Kit Harington. He hasn't really been that good in anything else. Charles Dance has done good in other stuff, but like, he's not really. There's no performance that's come anywhere near Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. And from what I've seen anyway, I mean, him in The Kingsman, he just comes and goes, "Oh, hello," and then gets bloody blown up by a nuke while he's on a boat. And then what else? The Imitation Game, he just sort of acts like Tywin Lannister in it. He just sort of has a go at the main character and just says, "Oh, you won't be able to crack the code, you moron." And I haven't really watched any of his other stuff. Yeah. Oh shit, he was in Alien 3. Damn.
Oh yeah.
Oh crap, he's like
I
one of the
haven't
main
watched it, but yeah.
Yeah, damn. And that bloke from Jurassic Park. Not Jurassic Park. Oh, it's a shame it's not really given the best rating though. Yeah, that's it. Pete Polleth.
Oh yeah, he was in Jurassic Park. Was it The Lost
2.
World? Yeah, the second one. Yeah.
He was a badass in that one, man. I agreed with him over the bloody Jeff Goldblum and the other 2 people. I completely agreed with it. Not hunting, but like, him having a go at him, saying like, "Well, look at what you caused."
I mean, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think apparently with Alien 3, I know the theatrical cut wasn't well received, I don't think, but apparently there's an assembly cut that was released. Like, I think it has like half an hour's worth of extra footage. Apparently that's meant to be better. I don't know, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Liam, I've got some good news for you before we end this podcast. I believe, looking through it, this is the longest one we've done.
What, like the longest one I've been in? Yeah.
No, the longest podcast out of like the Banterous hour.
Oh, is it? Because I thought you did quite a long one with I don't know, it was Scott or someone else.
Yeah, the Atlantis one, and what was the other film that we did? Treasure Planet. That's 2 hours 10. We're currently on 2 hours. I think the timer on the live stream is about a minute out, so we're currently on 2 hours 12. So this is the longest podcast, and it's talking about Star Wars, so that's pretty nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw on your channel. A big thank you for saying about the podcast on there. That was pretty cool. Saying that you had a podcast tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are
yeah.
the Star Wars videos you've got cooking then?
Yeah, so yeah, I just thought, because it's basically, was Star Wars Day to Day. It's basically Star Wars month, and Revenge of the Sith's been re-released. So I thought I'd just do 2 Star Wars games that are, or try and just 2 videos and put them out this month that came out in the lead up to that.
Okay.
I don't know. There might just be, is it worth playing videos? I don't know, something like that maybe.
Well, it'd be cool to do Battlefront 2 one or a KOTOR one. But yeah.
At some point, yeah, at some point.
Well, that'll be badass then, man. I'm looking forward to them. Any final thoughts or anything before I end the podcast?
Well, I just wanted to show off my top because I thought I'd wear this for the
very nice
podcast today. There we are.
Very, very nice.
That's one of the tops I bought when we went to Chester.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, thought may as well, as soon as it's Star Wars podcast. HMV.
Oh, okay, fair play.
Yeah, so
well, we'll end that one there then. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Have a good one. See you later.
Yeah.
Actually, Liam, as it's a Star Wars podcast, do you want to say your classic outro?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and that is all.